Hello there, you beautiful people! My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for another Subpar Commander! Today we're going to be looking at a 4v4 played on the map Requisite FAF version. And before we get into introducing our players with the lovely Team 1 sporting the red and yellow colors up at the top right, and the beautiful Team 2 sporting the blue colors in the bottom left, we should probably tell you about the membership, the channel membership. Yes, you can get access to every single cast just a little bit early, a bit before everybody else if you join the channel membership at a certain tier or higher. Go ahead down below, click the join button, read the benefits, and if you think it's worth it, go ahead and consider supporting the channel that way. As we move on to our first player, the Red Aeon going first land by the name of Forsaken Child. Then we can move on to the west where we have ourselves a Red Seraphim going first land. His name is going to be Jahol, and he is rocking this western position for his team. As we move on to the orange UEF in the center, he's gone first land. He is fighting for the United Earth Federation, and his name is Prugler PDM. Then last but not least for Team 1, we have a Yellow Aeon Best Faction going first air. Ooh, almost, I caught myself there, almost had land. First air, and his name, of course, is Hash Brownies. Moving on to Team 2 and the blue team, we have ourselves the Cybran player going first land. His name, of course, is Yog-Sothoth. Yog's a thought is what I'm going to call him. Yog's a thought. Yog is a thought, everybody. Don't know who Yog is, but they a thought. As we move over to the other blue Cybran for Team 2, and he is going first land by the name of Ragnar, and he's rocking this eastern position. As we move on to the central player for Team 2, a UEF who is purple going first land as he walks his way to the water. His name is Victor Lichter, and he is making his way towards that central landmass in the middle of this map. And last but not least for everybody in the game, a Cybran going Cyan, and his name is Lil Dan 1469. Everybody give it up for Lil Dan. And with that, we have all of our players introduced. We can talk about the map a little bit. 14,300-ish reclaim on the map for these players to suck into their coffers and use oh so willingly to produce weapons of war and destruction. It's going to be a really great time. You know what else is a great time? Watching every single Willow's Duality video earlier than everybody else. How can you do that, you may ask? Well, you can join the channel membership with the join button down below. Saying it again after, and also going to say like and subscribe again, because, of course, a lot of you all skip player introductions, so haha, gotcha, fam. We don't really have any early action kicking off just yet. We're going to speed it up just a little bit and wait for these players to do some stuff, but I did want to say thank you for all of the support. You all have been so kind in the comments, especially on the drunk cast. You all seem to really enjoy that. I'm looking into ways maybe I can do drunk casts more often, and also I've seen people who are really appreciating some of the changes we've made to how we do certain cinematic shots and using the free camera, and just want to know that all your feedback is appreciated, and just let me know what you think down in the comments, of course. As we have our first transport out on the map, this one going to be coming out from Prugler PDM, and he is going to be dropping this middle area with a couple of tanks, a Lobo, some anti-air. Nope, he's not. He's dropping one engineer here, going for reclaim specifically, and then it looks as though he's going to drop all of these combat units right here on the central cliff. What do we have here? We've got ourselves an engineer, a Lobo, an anti-air, just a overall strike and secure group just to be able to try and take over this little central area. Unfortunately for these units, though, they're going to find themselves on the wrong end of a plasma cannon, as of course our UEF player, Lichter Victor, sitting over here with his beautiful weapon. How do I do this again? We click here. What's the name of it? It is, of course, the Zephyr Antimatter Cannon, and it is anti-materializing It's dematerializing, I guess. All of these units in front of him. Rapid, unscheduled deconstruction. So, it does mean that with the comm being brought to the front line for Victor Lichter, that Prugler PDM is going to have a little bit harder time holding on to this territory. Also, something I want to point out on this map, the terrain on this central area is atrocious. There's so many areas where you build a P1 PD, P1 TD. Wait, what? T1 PD. Oh, I was watching this Willow cast. He can't fucking speak. Why is he? We're paying him to talk? What is this shit? But you build T1 PDs here, and almost every position it feels like they just start shooting the ground, which is very, very unfortunate. It really makes it hard to hold on to this area if you don't bring a comm or multiple comms. T1 transport being shot down. Prugler going to lose that airborne engineer force he was really, really using to get a lot of value. Over here to this eastern side, we have a very nice little defensive base set up by Hash Brownies. I've actually played this slot before, and I really like to see what he did. I think he used a transport to get some units out over here very early on, and that's really going to help him out with just having everything set up here. Whenever I played this slot, and I just got absolutely dumpstered on because the opposing team just got this area, so he's going to be able to hold on to that very well. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're seeing the opposite story where Jahol has managed to dig himself in to this northwestern position, and he is going to be able to see the fruits of his labor very soon, as he's going to have 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 extra mass extractors as long as he can hold out against the onslaught about to be coming his way from Lil Dan! Lil Dan. Everybody give it up for Lil Dan, as he's going to make his way over here to try and oust Jahol from this position, try and abdicate, or what's the word? I've had struggles with this particular word. Annex, I guess, this land from Jahol and have himself have a great old time. And Jahol is going to stand strong. He's showing up with his comm. He's going to start firing some shots into those units out from Lil Dan. And down here in the southeast, we have the Cybern player Ragnar. He is setting up a nice little production base, has a lot of Mantis now pumping out of these forward factories, has a few more factories queued up, gonna have a really strong opener over here in this southeastern corner. He is gonna face a lot of resistance from Hash Brownies. Overall, we can go ahead and check on the air progress. We have T2 finished up and T3 now on the way for Forsaken Child. Meanwhile, over on the southwestern side, we have T2 finished up, but no T3 on the way just as of yet. He's still just gonna build a few interceptors as he's building up his second T2 power generator, and that means Forsaken Child most likely going to be a little bit ahead on getting his T3 upgrade. I mean, it's going to be building passively for a while, but once he gets this second T2 PGen, he can assist it with all these T2 engineers and really get it up very quickly. I think he might just be a tiny bit ahead. As we go ahead and look at the economies of these players, Jahol and Prugler really leading the pack with economies. Lil Dan and Victor Lichter doing well. Hash Brownies is about the middle point, and overall I would say Team 1 doing a little bit better. They're about 10 to 20 mass a second ahead of their opposition and doing very well with it. Over here to the northwest, we have Lil Dan showing up to oust Jahol from this position, and it looks as though he's going to be successful. He has speed and range on that commander. He is really just blapping out the DPS onto all of these factories, and his units are going to be able to roll in here, clean this up. Jahol going to fall back. He is, I'm sure, happy with the small amount of production and the road bump he put in the way of Lil Dan's progress. And he's going to return home and probably have to fight around this northwestern corner. Has Ilshavas coming around this corner now as we speak. Over here to the southeast, we have a large assault now coming in from the blue Cybern. Ragnar now showing up with a ton of Mantis. They're kind of single filing in. There's a few PD, and there's also the Great Wall of Hash Brownies being built. Unfortunately, though, the engineers building them most likely going to die here. It does seem as though Hash Brownie's going to hold pretty convincingly here. The T1 PD, while they don't have walls to protect them, are getting a lot of damage down onto these forces and are really paying for themselves and are going to be worth the investment. Maybe some of these engineers survive. The Aurora now showing up, going to be starting to kill off all these units. The wall has been canceled, so the engineer that was queued to build it is now gone. And that does leave a nice little reclaim pocket here, and Hash Brownie should have control of it. Speaking of reclaim, we can go ahead and look at these numbers while we zoom out just to see if there's any action going on. Some naval action. Only one player really investing into the Navy, and we have T1 gunships out from Lil Dan. Prugler, the only player who's built a naval factory so far, other than Hash Brownies, I guess. And, of course, looking at the reclaim, Prugler leading the pack at 4.2 thousand, 2.7 thousand for Jahol, Victor Lichter at 2.2 thousand, Hash Brownies at 1.6 thousand for Second Child at 1.6 thousand, 1.4 thousand for Lil Dan, and everybody else is below 1,000, so they are irrelevant, and they should feel bad about themselves. As we crest the 12-minute mark, these players, both sides, working very well with each other, neither side falling massively behind or having any struggles just as of yet. T3 Air about to finish up. He's at 90%, going to be done within the next about 20 seconds. Meanwhile, over on the other side, T3 Air is nearing about 80%, so these two sides are going to reach T3 Air very, very close within each other. Unfortunately, though, I believe one of them has a massive advantage economically. Let's see. Forsaken Child is about 10 mass a second over Yog Zathot, and that's just going to result with Yogg's not going to be able to get up a T3 P-Gen quite as quickly. That mass is really important when trying to build that T3 P-Gen. And, of course, it can always be messed up. We are looking at low-rated players. They're going to have a little bit of struggles here and there. We're going to even cast at +2 for a little while. T1 Bombers now out from Jahol, trying to shut down any kind of chance to expand out here, and a lot of them really focusing down onto this comm. Unfortunately, they're going to be shot down by a bunch of interceptors out from Victor Lichter. And, of course, these players still just working their ass off, just trying to get the littlest advantages. We've had some Ilshivas kind of roll by over here a couple of times, but nothing major has resulted from it. Maybe a Mex or two going down, but that's about the extent of the damage being done. Large engagement now brewing down here in the southeast as Mantis from Ragnar show up to try and fight off the Obsidian. And it is Obsidian. Yes, the Obsidian and Aurora Force over here for Hash Brownies. Hash Brownies doing quite well for himself, in fact. 2-1 radar being thrown up. The Obsidians are going to be a great equalizer here for the lack of numbers that currently is possessed by Hash Brownies. But Hash Brownies in a really rough position. T1 PD yet again coming in useful here, but it seems as though there might just be enough. We're kind of on a knife's edge trying to see where this attack will land. Will it be able to get into the bases? Will it be able to deal any kind of sustained damage or economic damage? We'll see very, very soon as Hash Brownies is scrambling to defend, and now it's turned from a full-on attack to a very, very big run-by. Unfortunately for this run-by, though, there are a few PD now thrown up behind the main assault area, and those PD are going to be able to clean up this relatively easily, and it does seem as though Hash Brownie's going to be able to get out of this quite unscathed. In fact, leaving him a large reclaim field if he does decide to go for that option. And, of course, we have to keep an eye on everything going on. We now have T2 Navy finished up and a Governor-class cruiser. In fact, two of them making their way over, and now a lot of pressure being thrown down onto the base of Victor Lichter. It should be the other way around. Victor Lichter? It sounds like Victor Liquor, which, I mean, that might be the joke. Maybe it's like, yep, I lick the Victor. But I'm not sure if that is the joke. If it's not, then I take credit for that pun, and I'm not ashamed whatsoever. But Victor Lichter over here taking a beating. Unfortunately for his ally, though, it seems that Lil Dan is the focus of Prugler PDM, really trying to help out his red ally to the north. If he can shut down this economy that's been built up now by Lil Dan, this could be huge. He's starting to build up some TMD, but these two Governor-class cruisers are starting to fire all of their payloads into this T3 Mex, but they decide to stop firing at the crucial time. They could have gotten the kill, I believe. But that Mex is just going to be able to regenerate all the way back up to full HP, and that's going to be an unfortunate shortcoming of these cruisers out for Prugler PDM. Fortunately, though, he did force both of his opponents over here on this western side to invest into TMD, and TMD, not cheap, not necessarily expensive, but it's not cheap, it's not free. As most things in life, it does have a cost to it. So maybe he slowed down both these players just that little bit to help out his team overall. As We have a lot of air now coming onto the field. We haven't seen a strat bomber, or if we have, I haven't seen it, and therefore it doesn't exist. All the people who are going to go down in the comments and say, well, you missed the strat bomber at 16 minutes and 22 seconds, so therefore you're a bad caster. You don't cast. Go do it for yourself. You'll miss shit too. We're all human. There's a lot going on. There is a lot going on at any given time in any game, and it's hard to catch it all. I promise you, you would not do all that much better. As over here to the east, another large assault coming out from Ragnar. I don't know why I'm being so aggressive towards people in the comments. I mean, I don't actually... It doesn't actually get under my skin. I want to get that across. I know that I miss things, and you going into the comments doesn't change that. But, yeah, let's just have a conversation here. We're all human. Be civil. And you all are so, so beautiful. And my ramblings are oh so fucking ugly nowadays. Because I just can't seem to wrangle my ADHD together long enough to not have issues. Is that a triple Clinkhammer battery? This anti-naval defense, these naval guns, in fact, doing very, very well to try and dissuade the units out from Prugler PDM from getting any kind of damage done. Our next large assault we're going to be seeing up here to the northwest. A lot of Ilshivas in this force, and I'm not really seeing any T2 in the mix over here for Lil Dan. Lil Dan under huge threat. A lot of T1 bombers coming in, going to one-pass a factory. And those T1 bombers are going to get great value. If he shift Gs on all of these forces, he will really easily open up this side of the map, and Jahol could get a lot of damage done very quickly right now if he's so pleased, as the Ilshivas out from Jahol threatening to deal a ton of damage over on towards the Cyan Cybran. But now there's a bunch of Whaler T3 heavy gunships. He went for T3. He's just going T3 air instead of playing for the T2 or the T3 land phase, and it's really starting to show as a good decision here, as his Whalers are coming in and just starting to plow through all of these juicy, juicy little targets known as Ilshivas. It's a grand day when you get to watch these overpowered T2 assault bots that the Seraphim have, because the balance team is biased against the Aeon, of course. Just throw shade at the balance team, even though I love the balance team. They're great. They do a lot of work. But throwing shade because Aeon is not broken. Aeon deserves to be broken. At least once. Yeah, the Ilshiva's going down, and that's just a glorious sight. So we had to zoom in. We had to see it. We had to really put the emphasis on Ilshiva bad, stop playing Seraphim. Okay? Okay. As we meander our way past the 20-minute mark, some restorers have apparently been built up by Forsaken Child, one of them trying to chase away an entire horde of ASF. That's never going to go well. But he is... say what you will about this restorer. Never say he lacked bravery or stupidity. There's a fine line between the two. And that is a nice little mass dump of nearly 1,000 mass just sitting there to be reclaimed by Team 2. Of course, Team 2 doing their fair share of mass dumping, as over here a lot of reclaim has been dumped on Hash Brownies, and Hash Brownies has been doing a decent job of reclaiming it all up, sucking it into his coffers. 6.2 thousand reclaim, 9.2 thousand for Prugler, 5.7 thousand for Lil Dan, everybody else below 5,000. So they are... we're not going to go through them. Let's look at economies really quick. Lil Dan out to a skyrocketing, soaring, blistering pace with his economy, nearing 200 mass a second at the 22-minute mark. 23, I guess is what I should say. And he's doing very well, but he's the only player on his team over 100 mass a second, and everybody on Team 1 is over that mark now. So Team 1 massively ahead economically, over 100 mass a second in total ahead of the opposition. Team 2 just not ecoing very well and kind of struggling. The only player who seems to have gotten a decent amount of progress is down here in the southeast, where we've seen a lot of assaults coming out from Ragnar, and he's now up to T3 land, which he could really leverage to get some damage done. But T3 land's also finished up for Hash Brownies, so he's going to be sitting over here with a Harbinger saying, come at me, fool. And Harbingers do win against Loyalists, and that's what currently Ragnar is producing. But Ragnar has been producing T3 land for a little bit longer, and he's going to have a lot of Loyalists whenever he does decide to attack. Going to have to see how that pans out. A few Spectre gunships being built up now by Hash Brownies. A bit of an air engagement happening over here between Forsaken Child and Yogg, it would seem. As right now, Forsaken Child has been trying to use some gunships up here, and there have been some gunship attempts with whalers by Lil Dan. Both sides are going to be cutting down the enemy's air aggressive, those or air to land attack forces. And seems as though Forsaken Child kind of struggling on the air portion. Doesn't quite have quite as many ASF as his two opposers in the Air Force section of the game. I can't speak, I'm so bad at talking. You should go down into the comments and tell me not to sing, cause I'm bad at singing. Alright, large large attack coming in from the southeast. Will he be able to do it? He has tried many times before, but this time it could be different. This time he could strike down his foes with much prejudice, as the Loyalists go forward and then get shot by Spectres and say, you know what, fam, this was, sorry, that I didn't mean anything. Can you please stop? It really hurts. It really, yeah, thank you. Go back home. I'll go back home. We stop having issues. All right, goodbye. Fun little interaction. You walk forward and then gunships show up and you're like, flak. Instead of fuck, you say, flak. Affleck. Affleck. Who insures you? Oh, man. For some reason I said Affleck and then I wanted to say what's in your wallet, but isn't that like State Farm who does the what's in your wallet thing? I don't know. It's all just insurance commercials and they're all horrible. At least Geico embraces that their thing is horrible and they use the stupid lizard. Okay. Well, we have Riptides about to kill governors, which is a sentence. Man, it must be really annoying to be a boat. Like, usually boats, for scale in wars, boats are massively bigger than tanks, like scales of magnitude bigger. But in FAF, tanks are massively oversized. So it must be weird to be a boat that is the size of a normal fucking boat, and then this tank that is like a quarter of your size shows up hovering on the water. Like, it's gotta be weird. It's a spectacle to be sure, and of course it's a game, so like the sizes don't really make sense. None of the sizes here make sense. Like, the size of a tank compared to the size of other things doesn't even really make sense. Like, why is a mass extractor so small, for example? Because it really, in relativity, is a very small structure. It's just very interesting things to look at. Laser done for Lil Dan. T2 on the way for Lil Dan. He has stealth. Is he going cloak laser or is he going teleporter laser? Ras on the way for Yogg. Do we have anything spicy going on? Large air engagement brewing up here to the north. Unfortunately for Forsaken Child, if this air engagement does happen, he just loses. T3 land has been achieved now by Jahol, and it's starting to get to that point where he's built enough anti-air that it's going to be very difficult to shut him down with just gunships. Like, these are going to be able to kill off these whalers pretty quickly. Of course, he's going to be able to pick off the straggler Ilshavas and other outlying things, but here soon we're probably going to be seeing Othams and Ilshavas pushing down a lane where there's just no real resistance on the ground. And Forsaken Child has come in and he's managed to get a lot done. He kills off all of the ASF of Lil Dan, and he can even get the whalers here, and that's just a huge win. It seems as though Lil Dan and Yogg really need to start working together, or one of them needs to just take over the air portion of the game. A chicken has been completed. Jahol is about to rip a Jahol in the face of Team 2. T3 about to finish up for Lil Dan. He has laser. He's gonna want cloak if he's gonna try and take down an entire chicken by himself. Over here to the east, though, we have another experimental. There's been an experimental built up by Ragnar. I don't know how I didn't notice any of these little notifications about it. GC that was in production goes down, and this Monkey Lord Loyalist force just going to be getting tons of value as they push forward into the breach. This area over here, where it was T3 forces and T1 units, is going to be fended off, but I don't think there's enough Harbingers here to really stop this Monkey Lord. They're going to have to look to the air to deal with this. The chicken makes landfall and is doing much the same. We have parodies of each other on each side of the map. Don't know if parodies is the right. We have mirror images of what's happening on both sides being destroyed absolutely by experimentals. And the air over here is brewing for Forsaken Child. He needs to be on the point, and he needs to show up and help defend against the whalers that he should know are coming, assuming that Omni is online. Of course, though, the whalers have stealth. So the whalers are going to be very, very sneaky. As down here in the water, Hash Brownies, he's under threat. I mean, it's a Monkey Lord. It has torpedoes. Technically speaking, this Monkey Lord could try and kill that comm. And I don't know if that's the strategy here, if he knows the comm is there. Maybe he walked past the comm a little bit earlier. But the Monkey Lord coming back, maybe it's just focusing on killing off this. This force out from Hash Brownies is walking into a very well-defended firebase. 4 artillery are really going to soften up this force before it gets into range. There's a lot of loyalists and hoplites here to defend. If they stand underneath the shield, use these Cerberus, could be big. All of the shields just upgraded, giving a lot more HP. The artillery shells are coming in, taking out some of these asylum shield generators, taking out some of the personal shields on the Harbingers. They're walking in formation. This is actually quite beautiful. I love this. I like the look of this. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail. The Monkey Lord not quite going to be able to catch up behind this force, as it's going to be shot down by a bunch of Spectres. There's now a bunch of Mercies. Yeah, this Monkey Lord has to go underwater or forfeit life, and walking towards the opposition's base with an experimental that's doomed to die if it continues to walk towards it is generally a bad idea. I will stand by the statement of that's a bad idea. Over on the western side, we have a lot of whalers now going to town. They are wailing upon this chicken. It seems as though all of the anti-air has also been killed off by the whalers, and the chicken is going to go down, which is super unfortunate for Jaw Hole. And both of these attacks out from the players who were orchestrating them have kind of fallen apart. They've gotten some damage done, but they didn't really get any kind of definitive deadly blow onto the opposition's base. These T2 units are still going to be pushing forward, but unfortunately there's just no anti-air, and there's really not enough air out for Forsaken Child to defend against this. It seems as though he lost most of his air force, or maybe it was all just gifted over to Prugler. Or that might just be Prugler's doing, as Prugler has built a nuke and he's heavily assisting it, although I don't know if he has the mass to afford it. He does have the mass to afford it, but a second ago he didn't. You can see his coffers are nearly empty. So maybe with him having this nuke in production now, maybe he can rush it out and get some damage done. Has Team 2 noticed this? Do any of them have anti-nukes? No anti-nuke there. Definitely not one here. Wow, that is a very, very bare bones base. This is what I would describe as maybe Spartan in description. But over here to the north, a bug now on the way. Very interesting. Quantum Gateway now going up for Yogg. We have another chicken on the way, or maybe even completed. We do have a Quantum Gateway building up Rambo SCUs now for Jahol. And these Rambo SCUs, they can be very, very deadly. They have overcharge. Does automatic overcharge, is that a thing on these support commanders? I don't think I can check. Yeah, I can. If it is a thing, that's chef's kiss. Beautiful. Listen, I know that I've accepted that the Seraphim are here to stay. I'm not going to be able to get rid of them, and I'm not going to be able to have any of my grievances with the Seraphim be addressed whatsoever. So whenever I see something that is cool with the Seraphim, I gotta point it out and go, mwah, chef's kiss. Just like I do with the other factions. Like, for example, the fact that the UEF T3 SCU gets a T3 flying engineer as one of its upgrades is also amazing and entirely underutilized. And I'm a big proponent of the Aeon SCU using Sacrifice. It's so good. Every time I have a bunch of RAS SCUs, I grab 5 of them and I tell them to build Sacrifice. Maybe I don't even use it that game, but even in like a defensive situation, the ability to just instantly build a GC is so amazing, and no other faction can do it. No other faction can literally instantaneously build something like that. And it's such a unique mechanic. Alright, so we're going to go up to ×2 speed because everybody is really slowing down. I guess I shouldn't call it ×2, it's just +2, it's just weird. It's weird, arbitrary timing speed thing, as we're kind of just waiting now for something to happen. The Navy has been unimpressive and uninspired out from Perugler. Hasn't really been able to get anything done with it other than forcing his opposition to just build a bunch of structures, which, yeah, you can argue it's something, but at this point in the game, it doesn't really matter. Everybody is so rich. Overall economies, Team 1 is massively ahead, but it's a lot of mass for both sides. Nobody here is struggling with their economies. Everybody can afford things. Another Monkey Lord has been completed now for Ragnar. The bug is now about, how far along is that? 21%? It's at 21%, and that's going to be pretty decent. I don't see another chicken being produced, but he is producing a lot of those Rambo SCUs, which he'll be able to use very aggressively. The Nuke, on the other hand, is about to finish up, and we're going to slow down just so I can get a tracking shot. And let's go ahead and see. Does this Nuke fire on completion? Control-Shift-T. Okay. Does it fire on completion? Because it's going to finish up any time now. Okay, it's finished. We're sitting here until it launches. I want to get a good Nuke launch in. Oh, he stops assisting. Fire your Nuke. Fire it. Fire it! You know what? Screw it. I don't care what happens on the rest of the map. I'm a man of principle. The last few times I've tried to do this, the guy fires the nuke the second I stop watching. So we're looking at it until he fires the damn nuke. He's really not going to fire it now that I've said that, though, is he? We're casting via minimap today, guys. Alright, so what's going on here on the minimap life? Really, actually, there's just not all that much going on. There's a bit of an attack coming through over here. A lot of Percivals in the middle of the map. This nuke is about to have 2 nukes loaded. Fire the nuke! I bet you I can look on here. Is there an anti-nuke? No, there's not an anti-nuke in Ragnar's base. Is there an anti... Oh, it's firing! Oh, look at this beautiful thing go! It's flying into the sky. It's a big old rocket. Oh, yes, here we go. The big old rocket's coming to town, boys. The Spider is accompanying that force of the Percivals, or I guess the Percivals are accompanying it. Unfortunately for it, though, it's going to go very poorly. The nuke is being fired at Victor Elictor, who has his own nuclear missile silo. And if this lands, it will, of course, be brutal. Let's get a straight top-down. I don't think I've done this in a very long time. Just straight top-down view. Oh, brutality! As the surface of the sun ignites and shows us the error of the ways of Victor Lichter. With the Monkey Lord in the center down, that attack is just gonna fizzle out. Oh, these were bricks? What? Why does Victor Lichter have a bunch of bricks? Why did he... Wait a second. Am I smelling what was there? cooperation and teamwork? Not in my FAF. No siree. Get this out of, we can't put it up. We can't put, there's too much teamwork going on. We all know that FAF is a toxic cesspool where nobody likes to help each other. God. Do you all like the fact that I've gotten real comfortable just doing stupid ass bits in the middle of casts now? Seems like you all enjoy them, so I'm gonna just keep doing them. Yeah, this brick. Why do I have to be in the? Ow! Stop it! That really hurts. Why do I have to be in the back? Why do you have so much DPS? You're a flying toaster. Stop it. As over here to the north, the SUs are saying, since they're Seraphim, they're saying, which roughly translates to "fuck, I deserve this." As they're getting wailed on by whalers. Unfortunately, whalers not quite able to finish off the job. Pesky little Aeon Air Forces coming in to save the Seraphim, but then again, we all know whenever the Aeon helping the Seraphim, when that happened, those Aeon were propping up the Seraphim so hard in that war. Only reason the Coalition had any struggles against the Seraphim was the Aeon helping them out. I really should like the Seraphim more. I should do a poll one day, just be like, hey, should I stop hating the Seraphim? And just see what the sentiment of my community is. Do you all actually, go down in the comments, do you all actually like the fact that I rail on the Seraphim? Do you think it's funny? Does it add anything for you? As a bug is coming through and it's gonna finish the job that the whaler started, or not, it's just gonna die immediately in a very anticlimactic, sad way. The Aeon are just too good. They're just too good. They're really just making these games look easy. So the nuke launcher has another nuke loaded, and I have a sneaking suspicion of where it's gonna go. Although, is it worth it? I mean, I guess maybe. He hasn't capped any of his mexes. Like, he's ecoed surprisingly well. He's one of the highest eco players. I mean, no, he's not. He's in the bottom half. He's ecoed surprisingly well. He just doesn't understand that capping your mexes is actually quite important. He's building a Scathis and mass fabricators for what it's worth. Wait, did he build these mass fabricators in the way where you can do the interesting thing? No, he didn't. Damn it. I think there's a way to build mass fabricators where you can get a factory in the middle and have the adjacency with 4 power generators. And you can have a super hyper efficient factory. Strategic launch detected. Strategic launch detected. Yes, I was correct. I can see the future. I can also see that there's no anti-nuke there, and there is an anti-nuke over here, I believe. Yeah, there's been one for a bit. No anti-nuke in the middle. Still haven't gotten quite around to it after getting shot in the face with a nuke. The Scathis is currently going up pretty slowly, but it's at 10%. The nuke lands. We didn't need to watch that. That was going to be a boring nuke. A Hovathom, T3 artillery installation, now on the way for Jahol. He's throwing it in the hole. Salvation? What? Okay, that was an SCU. That was not a comm, was it? There's no way that was a comm. Yeah, SCU is up here, as always, dying. I guess we can watch them for a little bit. We want to watch the SCUs as they run away and with their tails between their legs, their dirty Seraphim tails. You know what? If enough of you all become members for me to go full-time on YouTube, I'll make a hard switch. I'll become a Seraphim player. Since the Seraphim heathens are so damn vocal, put your money where your mouth is. Get me full-time on YouTube, and I will play only Seraphim. I'll hate life, but I'll do it. I can be bought. Never let it be said that I can't. I can totally be bought. Here at Willow Mining Corp, we also, that needs to be the name of my LLC, or Willow Salt Mines Incorporated. That I need to create an LLC at some point, but whenever I do that, man, it's a freelance organization, everybody. Okay, enough about me money mongering. Wow, that's a really good phrase. Why have I never heard money mongering before? I guess it's grifting is another word for it. Enough of me doing that. Let's get back to the game. So neither side has really figured out what they need to do to beat the other one. A lot of PD being thrown up very quickly by the RAS SCUs, or these Rambo SCUs. The Rambo SCUs really proving valuable here, stopping large forces of bricks from moving forward. If these don't have auto overcharge, I feel like they are just a lot of APM, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they do. They have the overcharge upgrade, but I guess I'll just have to check. I'll probably go into a sandbox, spawn one of these bad boys, and be like, does it have auto overcharge? Will it overcharge by itself? Either way, probably still good, but if you're gonna do this, go with Advanced Combatant instead. With Advanced Combatant, you have Rambo and Advanced Combatant. Oh, overcharge. Rambo also has overcharge. What are the upgrade options even on this AFM? I never play them. It's overcharge or teleporter, huh? Interesting. Rapid Fabricator, massively. Okay. Interesting. Don't know those upgrades quite as well as I know the other ones. Alright, gonna go ahead and speed it up just a little bit more because there's very little happening despite all of the sounds and everything. Like, it's mostly just like long extended engagements where nothing has happened for the past like 15 minutes. So, the salvation is 73% complete. It just went into the green health right now. Okay. That's scary. What about the Scathis? It's nowhere close to being done. But there's a Maver on the way, which is quite the development. And there's already artillery online. Which artillery? It's not the Hovatham. Is it a Duke? Is there a Duke online? I just saw artillery coming in. No, there's an emissary online. The two Aeon players in this game, gotta say, chef's kiss. They're doing very well. They've already transitioned into the late game. Also, Prugler, doing very, very well. He's built an experimental. What did he build? He built a Novax, the correct thing to build in the late game as a UEF, because it's just fucking broken. Much like a Salvation is just fucking broken. I think you're counting your chickens before they've hatched, bruh. Finish the Salvation. Stop building PD. Stop it. Just finish the Salvation. I don't even think they've spotted it. Nope, their scouting is lackluster at best and horrid at worst. So this Salvation is just going to be a complete blindside. Even if they scout it right now, what do you do? Also, this might be the scariest strat snipe imaginable, because we're looking at 20 strats just sitting here. He's scouting for him. What's he scouting? Honestly, you could just go hit the Maver. Or either of the comms right next to the Maver. Strategic launch detected. Forsaken Child's built, I would guess, a chicken. If I had to guess, it's probably a chicken. Or does this count as an experimental now? Okay. Wait, Yogg. Was it Yogg who built it? Did Yogg just build an experimental somewhere? You know what? I don't know. I don't know who built it. Over here, a bunch of Seraphim SUs going down, as it should do. Was this nuke out from somebody else? Huh. I guess this nuke was this one right here. It killed 108,000 mass, killed off this kind of upper plateau area. But Prugler coming in with the snipes. Prugler? Prugler? Could you? Yep, thank you. Alright, here we go. Control V. Do this. What is he going after, everybody? What might this man be going after? Seems as though Lictor Victor or... Oh my god, the Salvation is firing. The Salvation finished, everybody, in case you were curious. And the Maver is almost assuredly dead. And they changed target at the last second to go for Yogg's. They don't manage it. With 20 strat bombers, didn't manage a kill onto Yogs, and he's gonna lose most of these strats to these ASF in the area. And Forsaken Child is making it rain. This is definitely the thumbnail. All right. Look at that beautiful, beautiful thumbnail. All right. I think with that, the game is probably over. Lil Dan Control Ks. I don't think that was a Control K. I think he was on a transport. Yeah, that feels like a transport. Wait, yeah, he was on a transport. Sorry. Victor Control K. Victor Lichter Control Ks. Don't know where his comm is. It's back here. The Scathis is definitely dead. The GC... One second. One second. We just need to soak in this experience really quick. You ever feel futile? Because this is futility. Let me see if I can time it. 5, 4... I was wrong. Let me see if I can time it. No, you can't, you fucking idiot. So yeah, Yogg-Sothoth is the last player left, and I think he just Control K'd. So yeah, thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. It was a little bit of a slow burn, but we had some good moments of action and a lot going on. We had a lot of fun. Hope you all enjoyed. You all are beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.